Welcome to Todd Wetstein Photography. We're hanging out in the blind today, and I wanted to talk a little bit about back button focus and how we get sharper photos. I've got 10 tips today that I'm going to share with you, and then I'm going to throw in a bonus, number 11, if you hang around to the very, very end. And I'm not kidding you, it'll help you the most. Okay? Now, what happens when we go to back button focus on our camera? We go into our custom shooting menu through the menu, find the controls, and you can assign this button right here on the back of your camera where your right thumb goes, autofocus lock. You can put that through your menu where this is now your focus. So all this button here does, your shutter button, when you push your finger down, all it's doing is taking your photo. It's no longer assigned the focus function. Okay. The advantage to that is, like right now out here in front of me, I've got a moose out here, but there's a lot of brush and stuff. I'm kind of hidden where you can't see me. So what I'm doing is I can hit my back button focus. That gets me really close, but what it's hitting on right now, it's hitting on a limb right in front of his face. It's hitting on some spruce bushes and stuff. So I can now take my thumb, because it's on the focus ring on the bottom here, and I can tweak my little focus ring, and what that does, I can focus on that moose's eyes now, because that's what's important. I don't want that limb sharp. If I focus on that limb, it's going to make my moose blurry. Okay, I got to look past that. Now once I get past that limb, focus on that moose's eyes, that limb becomes so blurry you don't even hardly notice it in the photo. The other thing that it does is, I have other videos on selective focus, but we don't want to bullseye that moose out there. And right now your camera may have your little red dot highlighted right there in the middle. It may be a black square right in the middle. It may be a whole bunch of red dots lighting up your whole screen. That's definitely not good right now. No, there's a time and a place for it, but not very often. Usually right now, wildlife photography, I like that single point focus. Okay, but sometimes some cameras may have 70, 80 points, that I can scroll through with this button here, or a command dial or something, whatever camera you have. So you can scroll through and say, I want that moose to be placed on the left side of my page, so he's looking into the right side, looking into the wide side. I'm practicing the rule of thirds. I can scroll through here and get all of those points until I finally hit that 77th point. Whew, now I got him but he's gone. Took me too long to get it there. Okay, now what I can do, if I do back button focus, I leave my focus point always on the center, always, okay, because it's the fastest to read and react with your camera. So by having I get my red dot or your square, you put that on your target's eyes, okay? And if you're really close and it's sideways or something, the closest eye, okay? So you get that on the eye, and now I can recompose. I don't push this button down anymore because I've already got focus. Okay, so now I can move my camera around. As long as my distance here doesn't change and the moose doesn't move, I can move my camera around and capture him anywhere in the frame. So instead of scrolling through 77 points, it's as simple as that right there. Or this, this is more like it right here. You got this target right where you want it, and you're capturing shots. You're doing it quickly. The more time on target, the more shots you can capture. Okay, you may shoot 100 shots. One of them may be super special. Okay, and that's what we're after. Time on target. Get quick. Practice with this, getting this up to your eye. The other thing it does is, one thing that I've used it for a lot is when I'm in my blind in Alaska, one of the birds that I love to watch the most is a little kingfisher. And sometimes that bird will be at the top of a spruce tree, just looking around for fish and stuff like that. And it'll just bam, right into the water, No reason. Doesn't come out with a fish, One day I was sitting there and there was a duck and had all her ducklings, like 12 or 15 ducklings swimming all around her, and this kingfisher swimming around and bam, just hits the water right in front of all these ducks, you know, and the ducklings. Just being ornery, you know. Spent 3 years trying to get this bird in flight. And one morning it kept landing on this tree on the top of this dead spruce, and it kept landing there several times, and it was going back and forth, and it was really active, kind of a abnormal morning for it, it was more active than it normally was. So I finally noticed a pattern. It was getting on one limb and it would go up to this branch. So what I did is I got on that branch and I took my, I focused on the branch, and then I used my focus ring and I went just a little bit behind the branch. And then my focus is locked. Now all I'm doing is sitting and waiting for him to maybe land on top of that tree. So as luck would have it, he takes off and I know he's going for that tree. I get my camera up here just like this and I'm stuck on that tree, and right when he gets up in there, I just hit my shutter button. I have a predetermined focus already, and by keeping that thing down, I got one shot of that bird coming in, landing in the tree with his wings wide open, you know. They fly so fast and they fly so erratic. So having that predetermined spot picked out was crucial for getting that shot. What they'll do is they'll take their zoom lens, you know, and they'll zoom out all the way, and they'll use their camera like a telescope, and they'll focus on this mountain that's about a mile away, you know, and kind of look around and everything. And then what happens, that duck flies through there and they're wondering, why can't they get that? You know, how come I did and how come they didn't? When I'm sitting in the blind, I'm after wildlife. I'm not shooting the mountain, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a target. There's a beaver lodge or there's a limb or something that's, say, 30 to 40 yards away. I'm going to focus on that because that's where my subject, that's the target area that I can get a good photo, okay? I'm not looking for a little speck of rice on my photo. I'm wanting I'm wanting something where I can show some pupils in the eyes, you know, so I'm going to focus on something that's about 30 or 40 yards away. Now when that duck flies by, he's in a closer range for my focus to find it quicker, you know. It's got to come off that mountain a mile away. That duck is gone before it'll lock onto it. So that's another tip right there, to not use it for a telescope if you want to, but when you focus on something that's in your target area when you're sitting around and waiting for them to come in. But if you're in Africa right now watching this video, or you're in Alaska watching this video and you're going out in the morning, don't make this change right now, okay? Because you may have that osprey fly by and you take that photo, but oh man, I never even thought to put my thumb on that button to focus, you know, so you just filled your recycle bin up, and we're not in business to fill the recycle bin up, okay? This is really, really important. Watch for animals to be touching, okay? And what you want to do then, you want to focus on the closest animal, because your focus will fall off a lot faster in front than it will behind. So your back animal, your further animal will be sharper, not sharp, not as sharp as your target animal, but will be sharper if you focus on the closest eye, okay? Now if you want to focus on the furthest one, that's fine too, but that's your subject, okay? You're just shifting your subject. If you want more of a group photo, you know, to have a sharper photo, always focus on the closest eye. Okay, now, they don't have to be touching. I got a shot here. If you look at this shot, what's happening here, it looks like mother and daughter are having a special moment. But actually, the daughter, the baby, was walking behind mama. And as soon as they got close, I just did what I call spray and pray. I just pushed my shutter down, rapid fire, and I caught that where their noses were going behind each other. They weren't touching, okay? They weren't doing this. One was in front, but it looks like it, see? That's really important. They don't have to, when they're close like that, they don't have to be touching. They'll look like it. Major, major impact in your photo. I'll be walking down the trail. Usually my target is a moose. Okay, I shoot a lot of moose there, and that's what everybody's after that comes out to go out with me and stuff. They want to see a moose. So we're walking around or whatever. If I don't see a moose, I'm walking, I got my camera in my hand, I always have my camera set up for a bird, set up for an eagle or whatever that may fly by. The difference is the focus settings mainly. I'm not going to be using single point focus. I'm going to be using a tracking type focus so I can track the bird, The reason I do that is because if I'm walking and that eagle or that osprey flies into my view, I can get my camera up and I can shoot that bird. If I have it set for a moose, by the time I do these, the bird's gone, okay? Now, if I walk out there, I have my bird settings and stuff like that, and I walk up and there's a grizzly bear or there's a moose or a black bear or something, I got time to change my camera settings and have a cup of coffee while they forage for food. You don't have that time when the bird flies by. Now we got our bird settings all dialed in and we're walking down the trail. Here's what happens all the time, without fail. In Alaska, we've got a lot of ravens. Who cares, right? Nobody's going to shoot a raven. Well, when we're walking down the trail, that raven flies by, I get my camera on that raven, and I hit my back button focus, and I at least focus on that bird. Sometimes I won't shoot that shot, but I'll get focus. Why do I do that? Who wants a picture of a raven? You need practice, okay? If the problem is when you shoot with this zoom lens, what I'm shooting now, it becomes so condensed, okay? So that moving target becomes hard to find. Time on target, more shots, okay? That's what we're after. And what you want to do, it's like if you've ever shot skeet before. Hell, if I go shoot skeet, I gotta wait. Takes me forever before I get my gun situated where I need to be. But if a duck flies in, I've done this so much, boom, I can get that shot almost every time. Because I practice when that raven flies by. I practice on that crow. I practice on mew gulls. Whatever. All these birds, that may not be a desirable photo are great practice. And we all have them. We have them in our backyard, set out at a bird feeder or whatever. Maybe it's just a sparrow. When it's for real and you've practiced, you can get it. There's really nothing to it. You have to get your lens on your target. It does not matter how much money you spend on your camera. If you do not practice this, you can't do this. Okay? I want to give you the biggest tip that will improve your photography. I promise you. Like and subscribe. Thanks a lot. I hope you got something out of this video. I sure like doing them.